Hi, Mason Marsh here. I think I got a camera bag problem, right? Here are my camera bags. I've got a lot of them, and I've been accumulating these over the years. I wanted to talk today about how I've come about selecting my camera bags and why I've changed my mind over and over again. Let's start with this one. This is my camera bag from back when I was a newspaper photographer, back when I was a much younger man, back in the 90s. I worked as a newspaper photographer for several years, and this was my bag of choice. This is the Domke bag. This is actually their largest bag, I believe, at the time. And it's, as you can see, it's made out of cotton canvas. It's a shoulder bag. It's got a shoulder strap, and it'd hold a couple of bodies and a bunch of lenses and a lot of film and batteries. And that's what I used it for, was banging around, covering everything you can imagine as a daily newspaper photographer. And when it came time to move on to digital gear, I found this bag was probably more than I needed, and it just didn't have the weatherproofing that I wanted. It's made out of cotton. It gets wet and it stays wet. So I retired this bag to the basement and moved on to another bag, which is the Crumpler $7 million Home. And this bag is great. It's a nice little shoulder bag. It's made out of Gura nylon. It's weather resistant, lightweight, nicely padded, easily customizable divider system. I used this bag for quite a while with my 5D Mark II and the lenses that I had at the time, but I pretty quickly outgrew it. It wouldn't hold all the gear that I wanted to carry, so I needed a little bit bigger bag. And I went out and found this Think Tank Retrospective 30. Now, the Retrospective series from Think Tank is made to look like old style, sort of Domke style bags. They're a satchel bag. It's a shoulder bag. Got a really nice big shoulder strap. And I still use this bag. If I need a shoulder bag, or I'm going somewhere where I'm able to hang the bag on the back of the baby stroller or something like that, I use this bag still a few times a month. But it's not my daily go-to bag. It is simply too small, and I don't like shoulder bags. And the reason I moved away from shoulder bags, I used to love them, but the reason I moved away from shoulder bags is I shoot a lot on the beach, and it's kind of my thing now. Is out on the Oregon coast, I take a lot of photos. What I found was when I had this over my shoulder, I'd usually have it swung around on my back, and I would lean down to take a photo of something down on the sand, maybe a sea star or a crab or something like that. And this bag would swing around and dangle in front of me, and I'd swing it back around to the back, and it was a real pain in the butt. So I said, you know what? I need to change over to a backpack style bag, something that's going to stay put on my back. So I found this. This is the Timbuktu Snoop camera backpack. Now, Timbuktu is known not for camera bags, but for messenger bags, but they're really well made. I've had their messenger bags in the past, and when I saw this bag, it had a lot of the features I wanted. It's a backpack. It's not a real big backpack, but it was fairly simple in its design so that it is cavernous. It holds a lot of gear. And at the time, I was able to put all my gear in there. The things I didn't like about it was it had a place for a laptop, which I don't usually carry with me when I'm out shooting in the field. And so it wasn't necessarily the most convenient bag. And since it just had this one big opening, if I wanted to access gear that was down below, I would have to pull out other gear. And so I kind of outgrew this bag because of the way it was laid out. I needed something that was more dividable, allowed me to spread my gear out more and get to each individual piece of gear without moving other pieces of gear. And so I learned pretty quickly, using this style of backpack, that if you're going to use a camera backpack in the field, you're going to need a couple of things. One, it's got to be able to carry all the gear that you think you're going to need. Now, it can be a lot of gear. It needs to be comfortable as you carry it, so it's got to have a good suspension system. It's got to be fairly weather resistant. Because it rains a lot here in the Northwest, and I also deal with blowing sand and other issues that I want to keep out of my bag. It's got to have access that is easy enough to do when the bag is hanging from the bottom of my tripod. Now, if you saw my what's in my camera bag video I put out recently, you saw that what I like to do with my bag is hang it underneath my tripod and work out of it like a desk as I'm taking photographs. This bag, it did that a little bit. I mean, it's got a place to hang here, and I can access the inside of the bag through the zipper. The problem was if I needed to get in there and get to some of the gear that was down deep, I had to pull gear out. And where am I going to put that? I'm putting it in my pockets. I was holding it between my knees, things like that, which is not what you want to do with a $2,000 lens. And so I went looking for a new camera backpack, and what I came to was the Gura Kiboko 30. And it was quite an investment, but I looked everywhere. I mean, I looked at the Think Tank backpacks. I looked at the Crumpler backpacks. I looked at the Low Pro backpacks. I looked at every conceivable camera backpack on the market. And I came to this company, Gura out of Utah. And what appealed to me about this bag was it was burly. It definitely would hold up to abuse. It was weather resistant. It's made out of very nice water resistant nylon. It seemed to have a very comfortable suspension system, but a plus, which I hadn't actually considered, was not only does it have a great suspension system, but you can hide it away when you don't want to use it. That's great, especially when you're flying. You don't want to be trying to corral all those straps as you stuff this bag up into the overhead bin on the airplane. So this bag is ingenious for that type of feature. But the big thing that sold me on the Kiboko was that I could open this backpack while it's hanging underneath my tripod. And you saw me do this in that last video. This has a butterfly pocket system. So the compartments of this pack are accessible through these flaps. Now, what most camera backpacks do is they unzip all the way and they open up like a big clam. The big whole flap just comes falling out. And as you can imagine, if this were hanging under a tripod and I unzip that whole flap and lay it out, that flap is going to swing down and land on the ground, drag through the water. So my only option with the backpack from one of the other camera bag manufacturers would be to unzip it, hold that flap while I get my gear out, and then put it back up. That didn't seem like a good idea to me. Now, I looked at the f-stop camera bags, and they're really an amazing system of bags, but they're built on sort of a backpacking style bag, and they're built to do that. You can go backpacking for a long time with those f-stop bags. The thing is with those bags is you access the gear through the back between the straps. So you take the bag off and you lay it on the ground and you unzip a compartment on the back and get to your gear through the back, which is a great design if you've got a nice piece of ground to lay your bag down on. And you could even lay it in the, with their design, you can lay it in the snow or on the wet ground and your gear's not going to be affected. But for me, it's not a good option because I don't want to lay my bag on salty, wet sand or worse yet, in the salt water. So that type of style of bag wasn't really a good option for me. I needed something that I could access the gear, get it off my back, hang it on a tripod, and do that. And so while I do like the f-stop bags, it didn't seem to be a good fit for my needs. Now, there are people out there that like the f-stop bags because they have a big waist belt and they can actually swing the bag around to the front and flip it forward off of their body and unzip it standing there. And I've seen photographers do this. I don't use the waist belt. I'm kind of a big guy. And so for me to swing my bag around on my waist belt, it's not pretty. Just put it that way. So for me, the f-stop bags just weren't a good option. They were something I very closely considered, though. So I ended up with the Kiboko because I like this system. It opens up, and these compartments are tight enough that the lenses don't topple out onto the sand, and I can get to everything I need to reach. So I've been thrilled with this bag. I told you when I did my what's in my camera bag video that I'd be coming back to do a full review of the Kiboko bag. And I firmly believe it's the best bag out there. Well, I take that back. When I made that video, I believed it was the best bag out there. but what I didn't consider was that the Kiboko had been replaced by a better bag. So what happened was Gura Gear saw my video about the Kiboko and what was in it, and they liked some of my feedback about how I hung it under my camera, under my tripod, and how I used the bag. And they said, that was a really great video. If you'd be interested in trying our new bag, we'd give you a deal. So you have my attention. So we exchanged a few emails, and I spent some dollars, and here's what arrived in the mail yesterday. The Gura Gear Butterfly 32, the new version of the Kiboko bag. I only bought the Kiboko a year ago, and here I am already replacing it with another bag that looks almost exactly like it. So why? Why would I upgrade? Well, there's a few things about the Kiboko that I didn't like. You know, like any photographer, I don't believe there's a perfect camera bag out there. There just might be one that's the best for you. And when it came to the Kiboko bag, one of the things a couple of the things that bothered me, especially considering how much they cost. I mean, these are big investments. They're not cheap. So there was a couple things about the Kiboko bag that I was not real thrilled with. One of them was this, and if you notice on the side of this bag, there's a buckled strap at the top and a mesh pocket here on the side. And what this is designed to do is hold a tripod. You slide a tripod, its legs down into here, and the feet go all the way down into this part of the pocket, which is reinforced with a really nice, durable, stretchy material. And then you buckle this in. And I love this design. I thought this was great because I do carry a tripod a lot. I don't always want to have it in my hand. So I did this a lot. I jamming my tripod legs in here, strapping it to the side of the bag. And after a few months of this, what started happening was the threads that hold the elastic band at the top of this mesh, these threads started to come undone. And this is something I was looking at and going, well, pretty soon I'm going to have to get in here and re-sew this. And that, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind repairing my own gear. The problem is, I just bought this bag last year. Why am I repairing it already? Well, because you've been jamming your tripod legs in there. There's only so much that stitching and fabric can take. So that was one of those parts of the bag that I thought wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. It was pretty tough. I'm being nitpicky, right? The other thing, which I wasn't so nitpicky about, I don't think I'm being nitpicky about, is the zipper for the main compartment here. This is the side that I use the most. This is my A side, where my main camera body and my main lenses live. It's pretty full. As you can see, I've got my 70-200 in here, my 5D Mark III, a bunch of lenses. I used to have my 5D Mark III, instead of being vertically stacked in the bag, it was down here horizontally. And what happened was I was realizing as I zipped the bag shut that there was a lot of force pushing out this way on the zipper. And every now and then I would get up to this part of the bag and the zipper would start, the teeth would start to not catch. They weren't quite hooking together. And so I had to come back down with the zipper and come back up and until they caught and they were secure. And then I noticed that the thread, the stitching that's holding the zipper material to the nylon of the bag, it was starting to come undone because it was being pulled, because this area was being stretched. And I was like, well, that's too bad. I'm going to have to repair that. I'm going to have to get in there and stitch it. And as I looked at it, I realized, well, you know what? Even if this stitching comes undone, there's another row of stitching behind it. So the bag's not going to open up to the outside world, but it's still coming unstitched, which is not so great. So these were two of the areas of the Kiboko bag that I thought were not perfect. The zipper on the main compartment and the elastic on the bag. Now talk about being nitpicky, right? I mean, those are two little teeny things. So yesterday when I got the Butterfly in the mail, I was real excited to open it up. It came in this amazing laundry bag. Right? It's a fabric bag with a drawstring top, and the bag was inside here. And I'm going to use it as a laundry bag, but it's designed to keep the bag protected if I was putting it in storage. You know, say I'm throwing it down in the basement for I don't know why I would put it in storage. It's my camera bag, right? And it's made out of nylon, so I'm not going to carry it around in the car. It's going to hold up to lots and lots of abuse, but that'll make a nice laundry bag, so I appreciate it anyway. So I pulled it out of that bag, and what I noticed right off the bat was the zipper material. It's a big burly zipper, but instead of seeing the teeth, I'm seeing fabric. And so what they've done is they've sewn these zippers in backwards. So the teeth are on the inside, and this weather-resistant nylon backing is on the outside. I don't know why more camera bag manufacturers don't do this. It's probably expensive to do it this way. But what you've got now is a zipper that is much more weather-resistant and a lot tougher. You don't have those teeth out in the elements, and it seems like these zippers are a little heavier duty too than the ones on the Kiboko. So very nice upgrade there. So I don't think I'm going to have the problems I had with the other bag based on just looking at the zipper material. Now, the other thing I noticed about this bag is if you look at them side by side, they're pretty much the same size. The Kiboko is a 30-liter bag. The Butterfly is a 32-liter bag. Where are those 2 liters? Well, it's in the depth of the bag and the width of the bag. So the bag is a little bit deeper and a little bit wider. And the reason they did that was they were realizing that a lot of people were putting their cameras in there, and they were pro-sized cameras, and they were using L brackets on their cameras, just like I do. And they were finding those cameras were fitting in the bags a little snug and pushing out on the side of the bag. Does that sound familiar? So the problem I was having with the Kiboko was that camera being in there flat was pushing out on the side of the bag and causing stress on the zipper. They have not only solved that problem by reinforcing the zippers and putting them in better, but they made the bag just a little bit bigger so that the camera will fit in there without being so tight. Brilliant, right? Great solution. What are some of the other upgrades? Just looking at the outside of the bag, I can see the material's a little bit different. The Kiboko had this really nice lightweight nylon that was really tough. It's reinforced kind of ballistic style nylon with a grid of reinforcement in it. The new material has even more reinforcing fibers in it. The material appears to be a little bit smoother, so I expect it to be a little bit more weatherproof. It is a little shinier, but I don't know if that's going to go away. The Kiboko was pretty shiny when I first got it too. It might go away as this bag gets a little bit of weather, gets a little bit of dirt on it. But the other thing that I noticed about the fabric is this bag seems lighter. Now, one of the things that appealed to me about the Kiboko bag when I bought it was for its size, for a 30-liter bag, it was actually quite a bit lighter than the comparable bags from Think Tank and some of the other camera gear manufacturers that I was looking at. The Butterfly is just a little bit heavier than the Kiboko, but it seems lighter, and I don't know why. Well, it doesn't have any gear in it, right? But it just seems lighter. I'm impressed by that. Now, as I'm looking around the outside, I'm looking at some of the details. One of the things that I really was impressed with the Kiboko was the level of attention to detail that Gura Gear took in the design of that bag. One of the things is, look at the handle here. This grab handle on the side is at an angle. Why would you do that? Well, when you're carrying this bag like a suitcase, it's much more ergonomic to have your hand at this angle than to have it straight. Ah, that's pretty cool. Nice little touch. The other great thing about this is if this handle were vertical, you would have less access to this pocket. Now with it at an angle, I can put something in there like a water bottle, and I can just actually loop the handle over the top of that water bottle. The other day on the Kiboko, which has the same type of handle, I stuck a Manfrotto Magic Arm down in this pocket, and it fit nicely. This little handle pulled out and covered the Magic Arm top so it didn't get caught on anything. Pretty ingenious little design. So really happy with that. But check this out. This is where Gura Gear earns their money. I told you that the stitching was coming frayed, was coming undone on the pocket on the side of my Kiboko because I've been jamming my tripod in and out of there. Well, the Butterfly has the same styles of pocket on the side. They have a new type of strap up here, a new attachment system at the top. Instead of a snapped, like a Fastex buckle, there's this new hook system, which I think is tougher and a little lower profile. I like it. I like the design. But I noticed down here, I don't know if you can see this. This is cool. On the Kiboko, the webbing, the little elastic band at the top of the mesh pocket had a single row of stitching attaching it to the mesh. This little elastic band. On the butterfly, there's that same single row of stitching, and then on top of it is zigzag stitching that covers the whole width of the elastic band, which means this is not going to come unstitched as quickly as the old style. Now, most camera bag manufacturers won't take the time, they won't take the expense of upgrading a little teeny detail like that. But for me, that is a big deal. I'm not going to have to stitch this pocket in a year. I'm probably never going to have to fix this pocket. On the Kiboko, I was going to get ready to repair that. Isn't that cool? Thank you, Gura Gear. Thanks for paying attention to the little stuff. Other things about the outside that I've noticed on the butterfly is the zipper pulls are different. And another little detail which is really nice, the Kiboko, you'll notice all the zipper pulls are the same color. They're all black with gray little rubber pulls. And I always thought the zipper pulls on this bag were really nice. Well, they've upgraded them on the butterfly. They even have a better grab point, but you'll notice that the zippers for the main compartment are blue and the zippers for the pocket are black. When you're out in the field and you're in a hurry and you go grab one of these, they're all kind of clustered together at the top. It's nice to know which one's which. And having them color-coded is just one of those, duh, what a great idea. Why doesn't everybody think of that? Really nice touch. Another thing that's new on the outside of this bag over the old one had this rubber patch that says Gura Gear on it. It's not an ugly patch, but it's kind of big and bulky. The new, more subdued logo on this new bag is really classy, and I like their new logo a lot. So, and it's just through stitched. It's not a patch that's sewn on. So I expect it to wear a little bit better than the old patch. You'll also notice that there's a zipper on the front of this pocket. This is the rain cover. Now, both bags, both the butterfly and the Kiboko have rain covers, excellent rain covers. But the problem I had with the Kiboko is that when this got wet, which it's a rain cover, it's going to get wet eventually when you use it. When you go to put it back in its pocket, the pocket itself that it's living in, once you get it in there, is actually inside this front storage pocket. So you can see that this is the bag that holds the rain cover. Now, if this is made out of nylon and it's coated, but if that rain cover were really, really wet, this does get moist. It does get wet. And if you've got gear in here, I've got, some gear in this pocket, you don't want it getting wet. That's why you have it in a pocket. So I didn't really like that. It was there. The other problem I have with it is it's kind of in the way here. It'd be nice to have the ability to stick something down in that spot. Well, they've improved on that with the butterfly. So now you've got your rain cover. You slide it into its pocket, which is now on the front of that pocket and not on the side. And look at this. Where did it go? It's not in there. It's on the front. It's in its own waterproof little compartment now, and it's not sharing the same space as your precious gear. Another nice little touch. An evolution of the bag. But you know what the biggest change is between the Kiboko and the Gura Gear Butterfly 32? I told you the reason I like the Kiboko was the butterfly openings. I love the fact that I can unzip the bag and just access one side. And the butterfly does the same thing. But the thing I didn't like about this system, it worked great in the field, but when I'm back home and I'm working off a table or a park bench or a picnic table or something like that, is I go to open one side and the flap it wants to come back down. I'm working out of here and I keep having to move this flap out of the way. And what I actually did on the Kiboko is I put a little clip on the zipper pull that I would clip over to the other side to hold this pocket open. It wasn't a big deal to me, but it did happen. It was enough of an annoyance at times where I was like, well, I wish that was better. Well, look what they've done. They put a little buckle at the top that if you unzip both sides and undo this buckle, now you can open the whole bag. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Now, it's like a think tank bag. It's like a low pro bag. Like the bags that, I didn't want. I didn't want a bag that opened up like this when I'm in the field, but when I'm home, boy, this is nice. Now I can get to all the gear in these zippered pockets. I can organize all my gear in here. I can get to everything I want to get to, and if I'm indoors and I don't need to worry about the weather, this is the way I'm going to use this bag. All it took was undoing 2 zippers and a buckle, and here I go. That's pretty cool. That's a nice touch. And frankly, something I didn't think was possible with the design of the Kiboko. So they figured this out in a way that allows me to do both, and I appreciate that. Now, looking at the inside of this bag, obviously it's still empty and it's full of dividers. One of the things that Gura Gear does is they load up your bag with dividers, and then they also send you a bunch of extras. These were living in here when I opened this bag. I got enough dividers to do whatever I want. Now, if you're like me, you like to really monkey around with these things and you nitpick how these are all put in here. And one of the things about the Kiboko bag that I liked was there's a bunch of different types of dividers, and they're low profile enough. The Crumpler bags and the think tank bags, they all have really nice dividers, but a lot of them are made out of kind of a plush material, and there's a lot of foam in there, so they're kind of bulky. If you look at the Kiboko, they're made out of a smooth nylon, and it allows things to slide in and out easier. And I'm not worried about scratching my camera gear with fabric. Not really concerned about that, and so that's not an issue for me. So I appreciate these smoother bits of fabric on these dividers. But the Kiboko dividers still had quite a bit of foam padding in them. It looks to me like the Butterfly uses the same type of closed cell foam. It's about the same thickness, but the nylon on the outside is a reinforced nylon that's a little bit lighter weight. So they probably saved an ounce or so in the overall weight of the bag, and they put in a little bit tougher nylon, but it's still nice and smooth. It's not that plush stuff that gets dirty and doesn't really do anything important. But they've put in nice patches of Velcro material all around, so I've got plenty of places to move these dividers about to, and I'm really looking forward to populating this bag with all my gear here in just a minute. So the upgrades from the Kiboko to the Butterfly are really amazing. I'm really impressed. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the gear out of my old bag into my new bag, and I'll come right back and we'll talk about what I think. All right, here we go. All right, took me a little while, but I finally got everything moved from the Kiboko 30-liter bag over to the Butterfly 32-liter bag. And, from the outside, the bags really don't look that much different in size, but when you start digging around on the inside, it does seem that the Butterfly does have 2 extra liters. It became apparent to me pretty quickly that I can fit a little bit more into this bag. The increase of the inner dimensions of the bag allowed me to place my cameras in different positions in the bag, and some of my gear can fit vertically instead of sideways in the bag, things like that. So little things that make this bag fit more gear, and I'm thrilled. I'm really happy with how I have it set up. So we'll take a look here on the outside first. You'll notice that I've gone ahead and placed my Feasel carbon fiber tripod, which is normally the one I would be carrying around in the field. If I'm working fairly close to a vehicle or I'm working in really windy conditions and I want to hold that camera really steady, I'll carry my big heavy enduro tripod. And the nice thing about the Butterfly is you can carry a tripod either in the side pocket configured like this one, and you'll see it goes up out of the frame here. It's actually sticks up quite a bit above the top of the pack. This is not a short tripod. It's about 28 inches long when it's collapsed down here. So if you've got a more travel size tripod, it would bring it down shorter to the top of the bag. But I don't think this is a problem having it stick up high. Only thing you have to watch out for is if you're going through areas where there's tree branches and things. If you're ducking under branches, you just have to remember you've got a tripod sticking up. But the new strap system, the MOLLE attachment points, all of that seems to work really well. And of course, this mesh pocket accepts the tripod legs just fine. And if I wanted to carry my big tripod, I could stick it in this side pocket. It would stick way up. But I actually have another option now with the Botafly. What I could do is place it on the outside of the pack in the center, a lot like how many camera backpacks work. So what I'll use is a cord that they sent me. I stuck it in a pocket somewhere. It's going to take me a while to figure out where I put everything. But they have these little elastic cords, and these are simply a shock cord with a real ingenious little hook design. It's got a little adjuster on it and a hook. I don't know if you can see that. And what I could do with the tripod, if I didn't want to mount it externally on the side, is I could put it on the front like a normal camera backpack would do. And I use this elastic cord. There's a small loop on the bottom of the bag, some webbing that's been sewn here in a loop, and I can carry this attachment cord around the base of the tripod and tighten it down. And this shock cord would definitely hold this tripod. And then up here on the top, what I could do is take the MOLLE attachment hooks, detach them from the side, and extend them out and connect them together. What I probably would do if I was going to carry a tripod like this frequently is I would get maybe a longer version of this, and what you would do is you'd connect it through the webbing strap on the side, run it across to the other side, and cinch it down, and that would pull this tripod down very nicely onto the face of the pack. So if you had a longer tripod, you could run it off the bottom, have it sticking up off the top, and it would be less obtrusive. So it's nice to have that option, especially if I'm going to be carrying my big enduro tripod. So cool little cord there. We'll set this aside. So I've also placed my water bottle on the other side. So again, it's got this other great pocket on the other side. If I didn't want to carry my water bottle here, I could put my Manfrotto Magic Arm, a jacket, or something like that in this other pocket on the other side. But I've actually got quite a bit of room in these front pockets to place extra clothing, snacks, things like that. We'll start on the outside pockets. If you remember from my other video, I haven't changed a lot about how I've organized this bag over how I did the Kiboko bag. So I'm not going to go through and talk about all of the gear. I'm just going to talk about some of the storage features of this bag. There is a zippered mesh pocket on the inside of this pocket, and I've got the new Gura Gear memory card wallet. And I used to use the Pelican hard case, but this is actually a really nice little pocketed wallet that's designed to hold 6 CF cards and 3 SD cards. And one of the things I didn't like about the Pelican case is it's kind of bulky for what it does, and it didn't have a place dedicated for SD cards, and so they were just kind of floating free in that case. Now I've got a spot for my SD cards, and there's actually an extra space that I didn't have an SD card for, so I put my extra remote control battery in there so I don't lose it. I've also got my Canon professional services card in here and a couple extra business cards. All fit very nicely in this wallet. It has an elastic strap to hold it closed and a leash, so if I take this out of the bag and I want to put it in my pocket or something, I can clip it just to be safe and I don't drop it somewhere. But I think this will live in this zippered pouch for now. I may end up moving it, but for now that's great. And that's a new little CF card, SD card case that Gura Gear makes that I just got. And I really like it, so I wanted to share that. A nice little pocket here, and then I've got the pocket in the bottom where I've placed my neoprene gloves that I like to wear when it's really cold. And I've also got my Black Rapid strap. So that all fits in here, and there's actually enough extra room in this pocket that I could stick a raincoat or a light down jacket type of coat in here. I could stuff extra socks if I wanted to, or a stocking cap, all kinds of things in this pocket. On the other side, this is more of the organizer pocket, so I've got a zippered pouch up here full of goodies. I've got my pens and flashlight and Leatherman, things like that in this. This side, this bag, just like the Kiboko, has this great key leash so I can clip my keys into it and not lose my car keys. And then there's a bottom pocket in here. And again, because the rain fly is on the outside now, there's more room in this pocket to store things. So I could stuff some extra gear into that pocket if I had to. Now we'll start over on the B side. Just like the Kiboko, I've organized this into sides. And on the B side of this pack, this is where I really am seeing the extra space. I still have my 5D Mark III lens, microphones, filters, two 600 speed lights, but I've got room in here now for the LED battery-powered light that I use when I do video. And I'm using it right now, but I can actually fit this in here, and that's something I used to have to carry in an extra other bag. So now I can carry that little LED light in here, and it's a handy light to have if I don't want to use my strobes when I'm maybe doing macro work. And it's a nice, soft, diffuse light, and it's dimmable. So it fits right in here, and that's something I used to not have room for. So that's very nice. And I also have an empty space up here. I could put a jacket in there. You know, if I rented a lens, you know, I could. Sometimes I'll rent like a tilt and shift lens or something special. I can stick that up there. So it's nice. Got room for all my batteries and stuff on the inside of this flap. My extra batteries. Now on the other side, the A side of the bag, I've put my 70 to 200, my extenders, my 100 macro, my Hoodman loop, my 5D Mark III, remote cord and blower, lens hoods, my 24 to 105 and my 17 to 40 all fit very cozily in here. And then all my lens cleaning gear is in here. I've got sensor swabs and lens cloths, and all the wipes fit in those zippered pockets. So as you can see, I've got everything I carried in the Kiboko with a couple of extra items and room for expansion if I would like. Now obviously this is a lot of stuff. It's going to be fairly heavy. So having the good suspension system, seemingly upgraded suspension system of the Butterfly available to me is going to be really nice. So at some point I'll get some video of this in action on my back so you can see what it looks like. But for now, it's all loaded up, ready to go, and the suspension is all tucked away very nicely so that I can get this out into the car. A lot of times I'm just working out of the back of the truck, and I don't need to have the backpack straps out. So it's nice to be able to stow them away. Got my carabiner on top to hook it to my tripod, and I'm thrilled with this bag. I'm really happy with the quality of it. The construction seems to be flawless. The materials are lightweight but heavy duty, military spec kind of webbing and zippers, and you know, this fabric is incredible. I'm sure it's highly water resistant. Water will probably beat off of it. The zippers being that new style of zippers, being reverse sewn in with the nylon on the outside, is going to be great for keeping raindrops from sneaking into the pockets that way. The new clamshell opening option is going to be wonderful when I decide to use that. I am just thrilled with this bag right now as it sits. I'm sure it'll measure up. I was happy with the Kiboko. I have no reason to believe that I wouldn't be happy with how this works in the field. So there you have it. This is the Gura Gear Butterfly 32 liter, the largest bag that Gura Gear makes. They do make smaller versions of this. This is the black. They make a gray and a khaki colored version of this. And you can get all of this stuff on the Gura Gear website. And good news, if you're one of my workshop participants, I'll be giving you a code that you can use to get a discount on Gura Gear through their website. So I'm a big fan. Like as you saw from earlier in the video, I have definitely gone through the bags over the years, and I believe that I've learned every time I've bought a bag, I've learned something new, and I've learned more about how I use them, how I interact with my gear, and how my bag is going to help me get the most out of my time in the field. And that's what this is all about. Having a good, solid, dependable camera bag that you enjoy using, that you enjoy carrying, is going to allow you to use the gear that you love in the places you love to be. And that's what photography is all about. So don't take the decision of buying a camera bag lightly. This is just like with tripods and a lot of other things, this is one of those areas where if you make an investment, you will not have to make it again. If you go out and buy a cheap camera bag and it turns out that it's too small, or it's not durable enough, or it's not comfortable enough, or useful enough for what you want to do, you're going to just throw that money away. And it's a death by 1,000 cuts, right? You spend $150 on that camera bag, then the next one you spend $180 on it, the next one's $250, and before you know it, you have a closet full of camera bags that you don't use, and you could have just gone out and bought the one that you really wanted to begin with. So sometimes it's a bit of an investment, it's a bit of a reach. I encourage you to make that reach. I don't think you would regret it. For me, I definitely don't regret buying the Kiboko. I really don't regret having this one, especially since I got a really good deal on it. So thank you to Gura Gear for that. And I hope to see you on my workshops. Please check in on my blog for more videos. I'll be posting a new video just about every week. I'll be continuing my video series that I'll be posting up pretty soon on Lightroom workflow. And I'll be posting videos from the field as well. The weather's starting to get better here in Portland finally. It's March now, so maybe we'll start seeing some greenery popping up. The flowers are almost ready, so I'll be heading out in the field to get some photos. It seems like it's been a long winter, so look forward to bringing you more videos on field work, more videos about gear. Hope to see you on my workshops this year. And always, please subscribe if you have questions. Just let me know in the comments. Be happy to address them. Have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.